Good morning. Welcome to our Thankful Thursday. Let's be thankful for all the learnings, for all the teachings we've been receiving and giving. Let's now tune into our dreams, our manifestation, and think of how it feels when our dreams come true. More power to us. And let's start our morning ritual. Amazing. So welcome back. And now it's time to start our beautiful book in the morning. And let's go for it. Ruchi, I'd like you to read today, please. Thank you. So here we are in the beautiful book, Refuse to Choose, where we don't choose what we love because we are dilly-dallying, procrastinating, thinking other things need more attention. And we don't give time to what we really should be giving time to, or we don't try. We think we want to do, but we can't do. So here's how we're going. Next page, sir. This is what we learned yesterday. Or did we not? The topic was something else, sir. So I need you to just turn the page. Yes, this was where we were. Right. So Ruchi, let's start. What we had in mind yesterday was that we had done this huge scanner list of yours. If you do the big list, the list where we want to do something that we've already done, what we want to try in the future, or what we are going to be interested in. And whether we want to do it once or twice, it doesn't matter. We had to write it all down. Did we do that list? Did we all make that list yesterday? Right. So Hiruchi, please start reading, and meanwhile the answers will come. So you did do it. How lovely.
But shallow wasn't what you had in mind, was it? I love new experiences and trying new things, but I would also love to get into the very depths of a subject. I tend to learn things quickly and move on again pretty quickly, but it leaves me a little empty if I don't go deep enough. How about that depth you wanted in each of your interests? I promised you would return to that after you did the exercise that has disposed of the first of your obstacles. The notion that you wanted to do absolutely nothing, everything. But getting rid of that notion is only half the battle. You may have narrowed your interest down to a smaller number or to whatever happens to pop up in front of your nose that catches your interest. But how will you ever be able to learn everything you wanted to learn about those things? Nobody has that much time, or do they? Here's yet another nice secret. Remember your rewards and durations. The amount of time you need, your duration, always depends on the reward you're seeking. It might take a bee 10 seconds to get the usable nectar it wants from one flower, and maybe take 10 flowers to fill its tank and send it back to the hive to empty its cargo. What about you? As I have said, if you are like most scanners, you have a peculiar sense of time. You live in the present moment with the focus being on today. Scanners get tasty bits of experience that other people pass over, but there is a troublesome downside. We operate as though today is all we are going to get. Maybe we can think about the coming week, and we certainly plan our work and home projects and our vacations and paying off our debts with a clear picture of the coming years. But if we wish we could travel to China, read Little Dorrit, and learn to play the fiddle, we forget everything but the present. It feels like everything has to be done all at once, right this minute. We think we have to eat an entire elephant by nightfall and have forgotten that it's done bite by bite. No wonder we feel overwhelmed.
So let's understand. Then when we have this in our mind कि अरे सब कुछ करना है, बहुत कुछ करना है, तो उससे that overwhelmed feeling से क्या होता है? We can't do even smallest little things because that you want to finish the entire Herculean task in one go. But we forget that time that the focus should be on doing a bit today, a bit tomorrow, a bit day after, and the process should be to continue the entire thing rather than just saying, okay, I want it done now. We do have a particular peculiar sense of time. We do live in the present moment, and yet we forget that the focus is shifted. Now, what are we thinking of? We are operating as though it's all going to, we are all going to get, and that's it. So let's start thinking about now. Do enjoy now whatever we are doing. Then let the coming week come. Let's take the plan step by step rather than making all the steps in the beginning. It's good to start a plan in the beginning, but not everything goes as per plan. That's just an outline ballpark. It's okay to shift that a bit. Yes, please, let's continue.
Of course, a scanner misjudges time in other ways too, ways we will be discussing in future chapters. You might remember a time you scheduled for yourself to clean all your closets, edit all your home videos, and put in a vegetable garden on a long holiday weekend. And be shocked after 3 days at how little you got done. Scanners often think things take less time than they really do. On the other hand, scanners also think it takes a lot more time than it really does to go past the surface into a subject they love. They're convinced that it's impossible to explore to their own satisfaction more than one or two areas ever. Okay, tell me how I could even do I how could do even a few dozen things that interest me, Ralph insisted. Well, it depends on what you want to get out of them. Not everyone is after the same reward, I said. What are we talking about? Regarding the technology magazines he loved reading, I asked how much time would it take for him to learn what he really wanted to know about each of the articles that had fascinated him. I also had him create a fantasy scenario where he was doing just what he longed to do as if it were happening right now. Where are you standing? I asked. In a classroom at MIT, in a library in Berlin. Make sure it's the place that makes you happiest. We are looking for satisfaction, and the feeling of happiness is the best guide to what will satisfy you. I waited a moment, interested in hearing what his best possible scenario would be for each subject he loved, and what emerged surpassed my expectations. He smiled, and his face almost glowed. But the scenario he imagined was not at all what he had expected. Not a school or a library. That's not what I really want. But if I could spend an afternoon, just one long afternoon, and maybe one more the next day in the lab, talking to this guy who designed this new kind of electric light bulb, if I could ask questions and let him tell me what he was doing, the story of what he was looking for, and what happened, the story of this discovery of his, and maybe just enough detail so I could really understand the basic principles, that would be amazing. I would enjoy that so much. It would be like hearing about a great adventure. Like I was there when each discovery happened, and that was completely satisfying, more than satisfying. He stopped for a moment and opened his eyes. Now, that is amazing, he said. A couple of afternoons, that's all I would really need. What were you thinking while you read about Ralph's fantasy? Did it make you curious enough to try it yourself? If so, get your big list of 1,000 things you want to do before you die. Now, one at a time, take a slow, careful look at some of the items on your list and think about how long it would take for you to get what you want from each one. You don't even need to know what to call the reward you're after. It just has to be what you really want from that experience. To get the most out of this experiment, you have to imagine yourself actually doing the activity, have a sense of where you are and what you're doing. Don't limit your conclusions to the quick answers your mind deals you. If you take the time to actually walk through a fantasy, you will get more information than you can from any amount of theoretical information. Keep the following questions in mind.
So
What,
very important for us to make that big list. Very important for us to think of that list कि जितने भी ideas हमारे पास हैं, जो भी हमें लाइफ में कभी भी करना है, उनको बस लिख देना है. क्यों करना चाह रहे हैं is not the intention. क्या मिलना चाहता है उसे is not the problem. The thing is mind में इतना कुछ है, ये भी करना है, ये भी करना है, ये भी करना है, उस सबको हम पेपर पर उतार देते हैं. Now the biggest part about this writing list is that हम imagine करते हैं कि वो activity हम कर रहे हैं. And then how do we feel about the activity? Now, there are a few questions, and again, the power of three, which always come in, जो हमें अपने दिमाग में रखने होते हैं while making this list or while fantasizing about whatever we want to do. पहला सवाल, what do you really want to know about this area of interest? क्या जानना चाहते हो? You know, कि अगर मैं bungee jumping करना चाहता हूँ, for example, तो क्या मैं वो maybe I want to feel the excitement of jumping and just feeling free. Just jo bhi simple. It doesn't have to be very high meaningful. No, nothing. Second question. What would you most enjoy doing with that information if you had a magic wand? So अब अगर आपके पास एक magic wand है और आपको वो चीज information मिल गई है without even trying it, so are you going to enjoy the experience of jumping or the idea or the feeling of jumping? So you have a magic wand, you have the information. आपने वो किया भी नहीं, फिर भी आपके पास information है. So how do you feel about that? Is that enough for you? या आपको experiment करना, experience करना है? Number 3. Who would you love to talk with about the subject? If you could talk to absolutely anyone. सबसे important चीज होती है, हम life में lessons लेते, experiences लेते हैं to share with people. अगर imagine मैंने कुछ पढ़ाई करी है, अगर कुछ किया है और मैं share भी नहीं कर पाऊँ, how does it feel? Why do you think social media has become so popular? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Why? Because people can emote, they can share, they can write whatever comes to their mind. So आप किससे बात करना चाहेंगे कि अरे मैंने bungee jumping करी and it felt amazing. Who would you want to talk to? So just think of these 3 questions. अगर आपके पास इसके जवाब हैं, that is when you can really imagine creating this. Ruchi, let's continue.
then, after you finish imagining each item, note on your list how much actual time would realistically be needed for you to be satisfied. Would it take an afternoon as it did for Ralph, or an hour, a weekend, a month, 5 years? Once you understand what you're looking for, the answers will come easily because the truth is that you know them already. Even if it's only in your imagination, when you think about the reality of doing what you would love, something happens. That feeling of deprivation you thought you had to live with goes away, and you start understanding what it feels like to be satisfied. Soon, those assumptions you made about wanting everything, needing a lifetime to investigate each thing you wanted, and most of all, the hopelessness of doing anything at all will be gone, driven away by the bright light of reality. And you will be just a step away from ending your self-inflicted deprivation, choosing one of the once unattainable items of your list and actually starting it today. Be sure to hang on to that list. You might want to do what Ben did with his list of dreams. I created a system similar to Barbara's lost and found of your dreams box. But instead of tossing notes into a box, I keep a journal with line pages for my dreams. Each dream gets a line, and as I do them, I put a check beside them. This allows me to go back and see what were once dreams and now have become a reality. All my dreams go into this journal, from something as simple as own a tea kettle to something outlandish like develop a space tourism business. And yes, I now own a tea kettle, and it makes me very happy every time I use it. And in the case of my space tourism idea, it turns out to be not so crazy after all. Now that billionaire Richard Branson is doing just that.
So जो हमारी list बनेगी proper, as I said पहले, let's divide it into a couple of facets: personal growth, financial growth, spiritual growth, emotional growth, challenges or whatever. जहाँ भी category कर लेते हैं. हर चीज के आगे let's write a little fact कि हम क्यों करना चाहते हैं. You know what is it that really intrigues us, or maybe a line, maybe affirmation, so that you're not overwhelmed and you're like, no, this is what I am out to do. And every time we do it, एक check box बना लेते हैं. So tick mark, the way in school you used to get tick mark, done, right, right, right. It's beautiful to tick off from a checklist and know this is done, this is done, this is done. It's like a bucket list, right? कि जो मैंने करना था, प्लान किया था, वो सब कुछ हो गया. आज 21 के एंड में आप लिख रहे हो, 22 के एंड में जाके देखोगे this done, this done, this done, and the feeling is so amazing. So please empower yourselves, create that list, create that big list, a scanner list. Very, very, very important for you to find a purpose in your life. Yes, let's continue.
Search for common themes. It can also be useful to look for common themes among your many interests. Ralph found that everything he loved involved the same elements. He loved learning by talking to creative people about what they were working on. He enjoyed every aspect of having the principles explained to him one-on-one by someone who was passionate about his work. And he loved the stories, the step-by-step retelling of how they had created their inventions. Discovering that these themes were at the heart of his dreams was a huge step for him. If you have any trouble finding what your favorite activities have in common, go back and make a list of the things you're not interested in, as I did when I asked if Ralph read women's magazines. That can clarify what your interests have in common very quickly. Now, how can Ralph make that dream real? He knew the answer before I did. I can actually write to some of these inventors if they are in my field. I think they would answer my letters. But I know that I can go on internet news groups every time I see an article like this and find the people who are doing it. They're often right there, or people will be online who know about the technology. I'm not the only one who is turned on by these articles. A lot of people like me are reading them. I could have a great time chatting with them. I don't know why I never thought of it before. And who knows, if I get to know them a bit, I might go over to their school and talk to them in person one of these days. How much time do you think you will need for each thing you come across? I asked. Well, if I replace my frustrated wandering around the internet with discussions on bulletin boards that I really care about, I might get everything I want and it will hardly take any extra time at all. Great, I said. Every time you see an article about something new and exciting, you can head for the boards. As soon as you find the place you're looking for and send out your question, you can go back to the magazine. That way, you won't get overwhelmed again. So what about the engineering job he wanted to change? It turned out not to be at all unpleasant once he started doing what really interested him. But when he thought it was all he was going to get in terms of interesting, challenging ideas, it simply wasn't enough. I really don't mind my work as long as I've got something exciting like this going on too, he said. If I can find a way to talk with creative people online every day, this job will be just fine. Your interest index binder.
Now let's read this very, very clearly. अभी जो हमने बात करी है, we were talking about the common themes that we can talk to, and we can understand that how much time do I really think to do this, or how much time do I really need to come across this? And if we are compatible in our mind, if we're ready for it, we will be doing it. Now here we are in our interest index binder. ये क्यों important है? Because अगर हम अपने ideas ऐसे ही loosely लिख लें अपने journal में, they will be lost. So how do you put them all together? How do you work in them so that you can scan through them in the facet that you're looking at? Let's understand this.
Now you need a new tool to help you keep track of all these ideas. Keep the big list of all your interest in one 3-ring binder. This is an index of every new interest that shows itself all in one handy place. I would start with a 3-ring binder that has a 1-inch spine and a number of blank sheets. You can have dividers to separate pages, but a small sticky note attached to each sheet will save space. Each sheet will have a different interest on it. If you're reading a magazine like Ralph does and came upon an article about a new breakthrough in electric lightning, you would create one sheet for that topic and keep a log. The top entry would have the date and the title and location of the article, with perhaps a brief note about the most compelling point or the most important question you had. Perhaps what you would like to do the next time you're free. The goal is to keep all new interest in one place, like an index. There are many ways to do this on your computer too, if that's more comfortable for you. What it's for. When you have a few open moments, you can look in your interest index builder to see which subject attracts you and then go online to follow an interesting discussion on that subject, where you can ask some questions or read what others have said. The result, you will stop worrying that you will never be able to follow up on your interest and will be able to continually revisit the most interesting ones far more often than you thought was possible. That means you will be going into them as deeply as you want to. You won't be afraid of losing an interest either. And when one binder fills up, you can start another and put the previous one on a shelf where you can always find it.
So very important to understand, like I just opened one of mine. I have a lot of like these books, when I have these kind of books, they are binders. So they make my work very, very easy. Firstly, I put my post-its on top of this. So, I know which section and I've labeled the post-its, which one is which. All I have to do is, and of course, they've got a paper separator. So this, when they start, they're going to be starting with another paper. And then I know I've written down what this paper entitles. It also has a post-it. So, whenever I want to study a particular thing, I just know, okay, this is section I have to go to, or this is section I have to go to. Your stuff is not lost. So binders are very beautiful concept because they are going to keep your entire thing open. Otherwise, imagine your day scanner has 10 zillion things written and everything is lost everywhere. But if you divide them per section, and if you say, okay, this is my new breakthrough idea, oh, I really want to do this. Okay, this interests me so much. So one could be a personal growth, as I spoke about. One could be a spiritual growth, emotional growth, personal, professional growth, whatever, however you want to. Maybe one is about the books that you read. Imagine having binders with checklists on that. And then you'll be able to find what you want very easily. When one book finishes, use the second one. Whatever's pending, maybe you can put them down in the other book also, so that the first book is by itself complete because you have taken stuff in the second book. It's very important to have this planned thing. It's very important to have the date also marked, the title also marked, and which place the idea came in. Because right now you can't remember. Aaj aap Bombay mein baithe hue aapka idea. Like, okay, yeah, I was in Ubroi. So that's why this idea came at 5 a.m. And just say it's come true. And then you see the events, how they're going to open up. But what is the goal while we are doing this? The goal is simple: sorted life, planned life, everything in place. What I want, where I want, I find it, but it's not too much. Some people like to work on the computer journals. It's fine. If that works for you, fine. But I always like to have my hard copies. You see how you want to go in it. The thing is, with your paper copy, when you open it, you're like, oh my God, this is how interesting it is. Okay, this subject attracted me. Okay, this is when I went online. This is when I went offline. This is when I studied this. And you will realize that a world opens up. And there's nothing called a worry because, everything is planned in your little big book. And whatever you want, everything is coming in there. So you will never lose interest and you will know, okay, right now this is there. And sometimes if you lose interest, at least, now this doesn't interest me. And you just can strike it off your book because like my thing has changed. I moved on from this part to this part, and that's okay for you to evolve. But the idea about these scanner notebooks is that everything is put on paper. And let's talk about while we are talking about binders.
Here is the first rate tool that you will be hearing about in coming chapters. It's perfect for someone who has dozens of interests and likes to investigate each of them more than is allowed by putting one crowded page in the above index binder. What I'm talking about is 20 or 30 3-ring binders, or as many as you have room for. If you haven't used them in the past, you are in for a delightful revelation when you create a different binder for every interest. Having lots of binders is a part of the system. Every time you get inspired by a new interest, you reach for a new binder and give that interest a home. When you start feeling stressed because yet another interest has arrived, one you can't possibly devote yourself to in the way you want to, create a binder for it and put it on the shelf. The relief you feel after doing something this simple will surprise you. But it's another way of knowing nothing will be lost and everything will wait for you when you do have time. The best kind of binder of for your needs has clear windows on the outside where you can slip in notes and change labels easily if you decide to discard any subjects or move them to larger binders. For these beginning binders, you want those with a narrow spine about half an inch wide. They are less intimidating if they don't fill up, and they allow you to stack dozens on one shelf. If you do a lot of your delving on the internet, keep 3-hole paper in your printer and hit the print button whenever you want to keep something. Put that printout in one of your blank 3-ring binders, write the topic on a piece of paper and slip it into the window on the spine. This little tool will make you a very happy scanner. There are a
So
number of
we are being guided to become systematic. At the moment, we start small. Later, I'm going to show you probably binders. Now, they are the ones जो ऐसे खुल जाते हैं ना, and you just slide, you just put, you punch a paper and you put in them. So you already have a marker, however you want to do, whether you want to post it or whether you want a separator or however you want to put it. The idea is कई बार हम doodle करते हैं, वो भी हम उस book में डाल दें. We're going to be just printing something off the internet. Everything is there. Then there are pocket sleeves in that. You put something in that. You start from one point and then the entire story gets created. This is such a beautiful idea. You don't even get to know when you're building it up gradually, year by year by year. So it's very important to get in the system of becoming organized. Many of us have brilliant ideas, absolutely brilliant, something that we love. But we haven't explored and gone deeper, and we haven't realized that, oh my God, the ideas are amazing, what potential we have in them. So all this book is teaching us, this chapter is teaching us to become a little more organized. Now, Ruchi, I'll just run this through them. The number of uses for the system. What are the number of uses? That firstly, there's so many possibilities within us. We're finding them out. And now a letter has been written to Barbara, and let's understand how it becomes. इस letter को पढ़ के हमारी clarity और हो जाएगी कि what is the intention of writing this, using this binder. Dear Barbara, before you advised me to think of myself as a researcher, my apartment was frightening. Everything had potential, so nothing could be thrown away. So what's happened is like a little miracle. I have 2 wall shelves of 3-ring binders. Now remember, she's a big-time scanner. इनके पास 2 wall shelves हैं of 3-ring binders, so many binders. Every new interest gets a binder. I pull them out of the box the minute I feel myself shifting to a new interest. And for the first time, instead of worrying that I am some kind of wild-eyed neurotic, I'm letting myself enjoy these new things. Every time I'm interested in something, I cut out clippings and take them in it. I add printouts from the internet too. In the past, I'd had written a few notes about how I'd write a book or something and lose the notes that I kept moving on to something else. It was very distressing and felt like I was getting nowhere. But all that has changed because of this great little 3-ring binder. If I look up from my desk right now, I can see the binder about photographers holding about 20-page printed out from the web series of news photographers and magazine photographers. Instead of spinning around like a whirling dervish, I've slowed down. I've slowed down way down and end my frustration. I think it's because I know nothing will escape me. Now, instead of feeling hopeless about ever looking more deeply into an interesting subject, because there were so many, I've been spending hours on each of these. You don't know what huge difference this has made. So do you realize? कभी ये thought एक यहाँ डाल दिया, एक यहाँ डाल दिया, यहाँ लिख दिया, यहाँ कर दिया. उसकी जगह, it's nice to have one consolidated place for one kind of ideas. Build the story bit by bit. Abhi just start with the simple step and then keep realizing that this power of binders is very, very magical. There you are. Now you can quit depriving yourself of what your hungry mind has been craving. Enjoy yourself. So enjoy your process, enjoy your flow. इतने ideas होते हैं, उन सबको एक जगह डालना बहुत important होता है, नहीं तो सब lost हो जाते हैं. And scanners अगर हम हैं, so ideas की तो भरमार है, just that we don't know how to channelize them. So more power to us. Tomorrow is yet another new chapter. Now it's time for a sun salutation. Surya Namaskar karte hain. Let's go for it. Let's seek the sun's blessings so that all of us are empowered to do the second half of the studies.
The Surya Namaskar with mantras. Om Mitraye Namaha. Om Ravaye Namaha. Om Suryaye Namaha. Om Bhanave Namaha. Om Khagaye Namaha. Om Pushne Namaha. Om Hiranyagarbhaye Namaha. Om Marichaye Namaha. Om Adityaye Namaha. Om Savitre Namaha. Om Arkaye Namaha. Om Bhaskaraye Namaha. Salutations to the universal friend. Salutations to the resplendent sun. Salutations to the energy that induces activity within us. Salutations to the one who illumines. Salutations to the sun moving across the sky. Salutations to the giver of strength. Salutations to the golden cosmic self. Salutations to the Lord of the dawn. Salutations to the son of Aditi, the cosmic mother. Salutations to the benevolent mother. Salutations to the energy that we praise and to the one who guides us to salvation. The sun salutation now with the names of the postures both in Sanskrit and English. Pranamasan, Hastuthanasan, Madhahastasan, left leg back, Ashvasanchalanasan, Parvatasan, and hold this position, and now slowly progressing into the deeper version of Parvatasan, Adho Mukh Shvanasan. Ashtang Namaskar, Bhujangasan, Parvatasan, left forward Ashvasanchalanasan, Padahastasan, Hastuthanasan, Pranamasan. On the right side, prayer position, raised arms pose, hand to feet pose, right leg back, equestrian pose, mountain pose, hold mountain pose, and slowly moving into the deeper version of mountain, the downward facing dog. Salute with 8 limbs. Cobra. Press back to mountain. Right forward, equestrian pose. Hand to feet pose. Raised arms position. Prayer pose. One round of the sun salutation with awareness on the breathing. So exhaling our hands to the chest, pranam. Inhaling as we bend back. We exhale as we fold forward. Left leg back, inhale as we're arching back. Exhale into the forward. Hold the breath for knees, chest, chin. Inhale as we arch back. Exhale into the forward. Left leg forward, inhale. This is a back bend. Exhale whenever we bend forward. Inhale as we bend back. Exhale, hands to the chest. And on the right, deep breathing, exhale. A deep inhale. A long exhale. Right leg back with an inhale. And exhale. Hold the breath. Inhale. And exhale. Right leg forward with a deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale.
After doing our 3 Surya Namaskars and taking the blessings from the sun in this beautiful Brahma Muhurat, let's move on to the most magical book ever. This book is all about letting go. And that is one science we must learn to evolve in our life. If we learn how to let go at every moment, we will be so free in life and it will be absolutely brilliant. So more power to us as we let go and we understand the mechanism of how we should let go. So what is letting go? Letting go is like the sudden cessation of an inner pressure or the dropping of a weight. It is accompanied by a sudden feeling of relief, of feeling light with an increased happiness feeling and just feeling free, exhilarated. It's an actual mechanism of the mind and everyone who ever experiences this on any occasion is just so liberated, is so free. A good example is the following. You are in the midst of an intense argument. You're angry, upset. When suddenly the whole thing strikes you as absurd and ridiculous, you start to laugh. The pressure is released. You come up from anger, fear, and feeling attacked to feeling suddenly free and happy. कैसी feeling होती है ना जब हम एकदम से गुस्सा आ रहा है बहुत ज़्यादा, you can't see straight. लगता है अरे क्यों गुस्सा आ रहा है यार, किस बात पे आ रहा है, what am I thinking about, इतना क्या बात है, and this very process इतना क्या बात है, oh, you just let go. Now that is what is beautiful and we're going to realize that. But कैसे करना है, let's understand. Then think how great it would be if you could do all the time, in any place, any time, any person, and with any event that you want. You could always feel free and happy and never be cornered by your feelings ever again. That's what this technique is all about. Letting go consciously and frequently at will. You're then in charge of how you feel. You are no longer in the mercy of the world and your reactions to it. You're no longer the victim. This is employing the most important part of your being, the very basic understanding, the very basic teaching of the Buddha, which removes the pressure of involuntary reactivity. अभी तक क्या हो रहा है, चीजें लाइफ में हो रही हैं, हम 90% रिएक्ट करते हैं, रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं करते, बिकॉज दिमाग में आया, वो प्रोग्राम बनी हुई है, इन्होंने जस्ट इमीडिएटली रिएक्ट, फट से बोल दिया, किसी ने कुछ बोला तुरंत कटाक्ष कर दिया, डिफेंड कर दिया. कितनी कम होता है कि हम सोचते हैं, इम्बाइब करते हैं, देन रिस्पॉन्ड करते हैं. And with all of us, we are forgetting that the Buddha told us to let go and not to react so much, right? But हम तो ये भूले बैठे हैं. What are we doing instead? We're carrying around with us a huge reservoir of accumulated negative energy, negative feelings, attitudes, and beliefs. So all of us are feeling beings, लेकिन हम सब beliefs के अधीन हैं. सोसाइटल बिलीव्स, कंडीशनिंग हमारी, या कई बार हमने खुद के बिलीव्स बना लिए, ये एक बार हो गया, अरे ये ऐसा हुआ, ऐसा किया तो ऐसा हुआ, सेकंड टाइम अरे फिर किया तो फिर हुआ, ये तो अरे दिस वर्क्स फॉर मी. लाइक यस्टरडे आई वाज टॉकिंग टू माय ग्रैंडमदर एंड नानी माँ बोलते हैं कि हमने तो ये देखा है कि जब भी हमारे पेट में दर्द या सर में दर्द होता है और हम किसी को बता देते हैं तो वो हील हो जाता है, और हम नहीं बताते तो वो बढ़ जाता है. सो ऐसे मम्मा ये आपकी धारणा बन गई है, बिकॉज उनका बिलीफ सिस्टम बन गया है, दिस इज वर्किंग फॉर हर. सो बिलीफ सिस्टम सिर्फ बाहर से ही नहीं आता, आपके खुद के एक्वायर्ड सिस्टम्स भी होते हैं. The accumulated pressure makes us miserable and is the basis of many of our illnesses and problems. So we are resigned to it and explain the way as human condition. We seek to escape from it in myriad ways. The average human life is spent trying to avoid and run from the inner turmoil of fear and the threat of misery. 99% हम लोग एस्केपिस्ट होते हैं. हम अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स को टच ही नहीं करते, खुद से भी एडमिशन नहीं करना चाहते, एडमिट नहीं करना चाहते कि मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम है या इसका निवारण क्या है. डरते हैं, फियर रहता है. हमारी सेल्फ एस्टीम हमारे रास्ते में आ जाती है, जो हमेशा हमें थ्रेटन करती है कि अरे मेरा लोग क्या बोलेंगे, अरे मैं नहीं कर पा रहा, अरे मुझे नहीं बताना, अरे मुझे समझना नहीं, मुझे सोल्यूशन नहीं चाहिए. Now let's look closely at the human mind. If we take a close look, we see that it is essential that one long, elaborate struggle is happening in our lives. And because of this elaborate struggle, we're escaping from our inner fears and expectations that are projected upon the world. So अगर हम देखते हैं हमारी लाइफ में कि we are always struggling, भाग रहे हैं, डर के मारे भाग रहे हैं कि कभी उम्मीदों से भाग रहे हैं, कभी अपने खुद की उम्मीदों से भाग रहे हैं. लोगों ने क्या बोला है, हमने क्या बोला है, मुझे ये करना है, मुझे ये करना है, और डर लगता है. उस डर लग रहा है तो हम एस्केप कर रहे हैं, अंडरस्टैंड भी कर रहे हैं. साथ में क्या हो रहा है? It's interspersed our periods of celebration that we have momentarily escaped the inner fears, but the fears are still waiting for us. कई बार कुछ हो जाता है, we are like, okay, now it's nice, and अभी टाइम बीइंग के लिए मैं इसको नहीं बात कर रहा, अभी तो I'm feeling good, there's nothing about it. लेकिन वो अंदर तो है ना, क्योंकि आपने उनको एड्रेस नहीं किया. We have become afraid of our inner feelings because they hold such a massive amount of negativity that we fear we would be overwhelmed by it if we were to take a deeper look. वो डर इतना ज्यादा हो गया कि हम उसको अंदर तो झांकते ही नहीं, गहरा तो झांकते ही नहीं है, तो लगता है कि अरे पता नहीं अब क्या बाहर निकल के आ जाएगा. We have a fear of these feelings because we have no conscious mechanism by which to handle the feelings if we let them come up within ourselves. लगता है ना कई बार कि यार दर्द को दबाया हुआ था, अब आपने ये वाली बात कही तो सब बाहर निकल के आ गया, अरे अब तो हम बहुत परेशान हो गए. क्यों हो गया? क्योंकि हमें आता ही नहीं कैसे हैंडल करना है अपने आप को. हमें लगता है कि यार ये तो बहुत बकवास है, ये किताब पढ़ी है, ये किया तो इससे तो ये फीलिंग बाहर आ गई, तो दबा के बैठा हुआ था, अब तो बहुत है. क्योंकि हमें मैकेनिज्म पता ही नहीं है. We secretly are unable to handle ourselves. So we are unable to let these emotions come up. Now, because we're afraid to face them, they continue to accumulate. हम फेस ही नहीं कर पा रहे, एक प्रॉब्लम दूसरी प्रॉब्लम तीसरी प्रॉब्लम एक से साथ बहुत बढ़ जाती है. Now we secretly begin looking forward to death to bring all the pain to an end. It is not thoughts or facts that are painful, but the feelings that accompany them. Thoughts in and of themselves are painful, but not the feelings that underlie them. कई बार ये क्वेश्चन आता है दिमाग में, यार मैं रह क्यों ना हूँ, किसके लिए रह रहा हूँ, इतना प्रॉब्लम आ रही है मुझे, व्हाट इज द पॉइंट. मैं ये नहीं बोलती हम सोचते हैं सुसाइड कर ले, नहीं, और कई बार कि क्यों यार, मेरा पर्पस क्या है, मेरे ये भी नहीं हो रहा, ये भी नहीं हो रहा, ये भी नहीं हो रहा, आई मीन इट्स यूजलेस फॉर मी टू लिव, रियली कोई मतलब ही नहीं है, क्या मतलब है. एंड देन एकदम से वी स्टार्ट फाइंडिंग कि मेरे लाइफ का पर्पस क्या है. These accumulated pressure of feelings that are there, these are the problem which causes thoughts, and we are all about thoughts. One feeling, for instance, can create literally thousands of thoughts over a period of time. So feeling कैसे आती है? कुछ डर लगा, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अब डर लगा तो दिमाग आगे फ्यूचर में पहुंच जाएगा, अरे ये होगा तो ऐसा हो जाएगा, ऐसा हो जाएगा, अरे ये हो गया तो ऐसा हो जाएगा. एक फीलिंग की वजह से thousands and thousands of thoughts आती हैं. Now this is something we all have to understand, because जब तक हम समझेंगे नहीं, we will not be released. It is accumulated pressure of feelings that causes thoughts, right? Now one feeling creates thousands of thoughts. Let's think for 1 minute of any one painful memory from our early life, one terrible regret that has been hidden. Look at all the years and years of thoughts associated with a single event. कुछ भी आपके दिमाग में, आज हम इनफैक्ट मेडिटेशन में करते हैं, we'll think of something, one thing, and we'll observe कि क्या हमारे अंदर हो रहा है. If we could surrender the underlying painful feeling, all of those thoughts would disappear instantly, and you would forget the event. The observation is in accord with scientific research. The gray-la-violet scientific theory integrates psychology and neurophysiology. Their research demonstrated that feeling tones organize thoughts and memories. Thoughts are filed in the memory bank according to the various shades of feelings associated with those thoughts. Therefore, when we relinquish or let go of a feeling, we are freeing ourselves from all of the associated thoughts. तो अब क्या होता है, अगर मैंने एक मुद्दे पे अपने आप में वर्क किया और एक चीज को लेट गो कर दी, उसके साथ साथ हजारों लाखों थॉट्स को भी मैंने लेट गो कर दिया. Why? बिकॉज मैं फ्री हो गई हूँ उससे, मैंने एक चीज को टैकल कर लिया. दिस इज हाउ लाइफ गोज. वो पूरी की पूरी फाइल जो हमने करी हुई है उससे अटैच वो फाइलें गायब हो जाएंगी, खत्म हो जाएगा, तो आप लाइट हो जाओगे. द ग्रेट वैल्यू ऑफ नोइंग हाउ टू सरेंडर इज दैट any and all feelings can be let go of at any time and any place in an instant. It can be done continuously and effortlessly. अब कैसे करें इसको? ठीक है, समझ में आ गया. How do we do it? What is a surrendered state? It means to be free of negative feelings in a given area so that creativity and spontaneity can manifest without opposition or interference of inner conflicts. कैसा फील होगा आपको जब आप फ्लो करते रहोगे लाइफ में, आइडिया आया, अरे इसको भी कर लेते हैं, ये भी कर लेते हैं, ये भी कर लेते हैं, डर सामने नहीं आएगा, अरे कर तो लेते हैं बट ये हो गया तो प्रॉब्लम आएगा, अरे ऐसा हो गया तो करेंगे, वहां कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स आते हैं, वहां इंटरफेरेंस होती है. And to be free of inner conflict and expectations is to give others in our life the greatest freedom. It allows us to experience the basic nature of the universe, which it will be discovered is to manifest the greatest good possible in a situation. अभी philosophical sound कर सकता है. क्या sound कर रहा है? कि कई बार यूनिवर्स की बेसिक नेचर क्या होती है कि लव एंड लाइट है. लाइट है तो सब कुछ दिख रहा है, डिस्कवर हो रहा है, एंड सब कुछ वेट कर रहा है मैनिफेस्ट करने के लिए, सबके अच्छे के लिए. लेकिन हमने उसको अट्रैक्ट ही नहीं किया, हमने फ्री ही नहीं किया. सो this might sound philosophical, but when done, it's experientially true. Experientially true का मतलब क्या है? हमने एक्सपीरियंस कर लिया और सत्य को देख लिया that okay, wow, this exists, this is true. The next page is about feelings and mental mechanisms. We have three major ways of handling feelings: suppression, expression, and escape. We will discuss each one of them. So, you're saying some feelings are there which are coming every now and then in mind. How to let go? As I really want to let go. So, कोमल वही तो हम पढ़ रहे हैं. आप जो सवाल कर रहे हो वही तो हम पढ़ रहे हैं. अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं कि कैसे हाउ टू लेट गो. अभी 1 मंथ लगेगा. आपकी कितनी सारी फीलिंग्स हैं जो हमने सप्रेस कर रही हैं, राइट? हमने एक्सप्रेस नहीं करी, या कई बार एक्सप्रेस भी कर लेते हैं गुस्से से भी. तो लेट्स वेट एंड लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड द टॉक. अब 3 प्रकार की हमारी फीलिंग्स हैं, मेंटल मैकेनिज्म्स हैं. पहला क्या है? सबसे कॉमन है सप्रेशन एंड डिप्रेशन. These are common ways in which we push feelings down and push them aside. अभी क्या है, कुछ चीज को समझना ही नहीं है, नहीं तो है ही नहीं, इसको अंदर दबा के बैठ गए, उसके बारे में बात ही नहीं करनी, कुछ नहीं, क्लोज कर लिया अपने आप, किताब बंद, अंदर क्लोज्ड, फाइल क्लोज्ड. In depression, this happens unconsciously. In suppression, it happens consciously. अब रिप्रेशन जो है वो सबकॉन्शियस पावर्स चल रहा है. रिप्रेशन को हम जान पूछ के भली भांति जानते हुए उसको दबाते हैं. Now we don't want to be bothered by feelings, and besides we don't know what else to do with them. हमें पता ही नहीं फीलिंग से करना क्या है, सो हम सफर करते हैं. अभी हम फिर भी ट्राई करते हैं फंक्शन करने के लिए as best as we can. The feelings that we select to be suppressed or repressed are in accord with the conscious and unconscious programs that we carry within us from social custom and family training. समाज ने बोला है, फैमिली ने बोला है, तो मुझे ये वाला काम करना है, तो मुझे ऐसा करना है, मुझे मम्मा से वापस जवाब नहीं देना, या मुझे इसके बोलना नहीं, डिस्कॉर्ड हो जाएगा, फैमिली टूट जाएगी, ऐसा हो जाएगा, या बिजनेस में ऐसे बोलूंगा तो बॉस ऐसे बोलेगा, मुझे तो अपने आप को दबा के रखना बेटर है, कुछ नहीं एक्सेप्टेड नहीं है समाज से. ये हमारी बिलीव्स, हमारी विचार धारणाएं हैं, ये हमारी ट्रेनिंग है जो हमारे सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में फिट हो चुकी हैं. अब कई लोग जैसे होते हैं, उनकी फिक्स्ड फीलिंग होती है, वो उसके बाहर निकलना ही नहीं चाहते. Now the pressure of suppressed feelings is later felt as irritation. आपको इरिटेशन होगा, इरिटेबिलिटी होगा, आपके मूड स्विंग्स आएंगे, टेंशन आएंगे मसल में, नेक में, आप ऐसे करोगे, ओ माय गॉड, नी में आएगा, हेडेक्स आएंगे, क्रैम्प्स आएंगे, जब मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल्स आएंगे, डिसऑर्डर्स आ जाएंगे, कोलाइटिस हो सकता है, इंडाइजेशन हो सकता है, गैस्ट्रिक प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है, एसिडिटी हो सकती है, स्लीपलेसनेस हो सकती है, इंसोम्निया, हाइपरटेंशन हो सकती है, कहीं ना कहीं एलर्जी आ सकती है, या सो मेनी सोमैटिक कंडीशंस आ सकती हैं. क्यों? कहीं ना कहीं तो फीलिंग मैनिफेस्ट करेगी ना. अगर आपने अपने आप को दबा के छोड़ दिया है और वो आपकी बॉडी में इजी नहीं हो आप उस फीलिंग के साथ, डिस ईज तो आएगा ही आएगा. एंड डिस ईज में कुछ भी आ सकता है. अब जब हम रिप्रेस करते हैं फीलिंग, इट इज बिकॉज वहाँ गिल्ट है, वहाँ डर है कि अरे ये सच में ऐसा हो जाए तो आपको लगता है कि यू नो यू फीलिंग इट instantly, you're trusting yourself subconsciously and it threatens to emerge. अभी वापस हो गया तो क्या होगा? So ये repressed feeling जो है इसको हैंडल करने के कुछ तरीके हैं so that हमारी अवेयरनेस जागरूक हो एंड हम इसको डिप्रेशन से बाहर निकाल पाए. Out of these mechanisms used by the mind to keep the feeling repressed, denial and projection are perhaps the best known methods. जब एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं करते हैं हम लोग या उसको आगे एक्सप्रेस ही नहीं करते हैं हम. Now these are going hand in hand. And denial results in major emotional maturational blocks. जब हम डिनाई करते हैं कुछ चीज को तो लाइफ में क्या होता है? इमोशनल टर्बुलेंस आ जाता है. एकदम से आप मेच्योरिटी नहीं हो पाते, आप वो एमेच्योर रहते हो, इमेच्योर रहते हो और आप आगे बढ़ ही नहीं पाते बिकॉज आप टैकल करना ही नहीं आता आपको. Now it's usually accompanied by a mechanism of projection. Because of guilt and fear, we repress the impulse or the feeling. We deny the presence within us. Instead of feeling it, we project into the world and those around us. We experience a feeling as if it belonged to them. They become the enemy, and the mind searches for and finds jurisdiction to reinforce projection. अब आप क्या कर रहे हो? इसमें ब्लेम गेम शिफ्ट कर दिया आपने. मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम है, इसने ये किया तो मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम है. ये नहीं बोलेंगे कि मुझे ये कुछ सीखना था इसलिए प्रॉब्लम आई. नहीं, ऐसा हुआ इसलिए प्रॉब्लम आ गई. ऐसा नहीं होता तो हम तो बहुत अच्छे होते. Now blame is placed on people, places, institutions, food, climatic conditions, astrological events, social conditions, fate, God, luck, devil, foreigners, ethnic groups, political rivals, and other things outside of yourselves. कई लोग बोलते ना कि ये तो हमारा और कुछ नहीं समझ में आता तो प्रारब्ध है भाई, हमारा तो पुराने पुनर्जन्म का काम है. अरे ये हो गया इसलिए ये हो रहा है. ब्लेम, उससे क्या होता है? अपने आप से बर्डन हट जाता है. और हमको ये समझ में नहीं आता कि कुछ प्रॉब्लम अगर है तो मेरे पास ही निवारण है. आई हैव अ सोल्यूशन, नोबडी एल्स हैज. कोई नहीं आके सोल्यूशन देगा, मुझे करना है. उससे क्या होता है? हम ब्लेम गेम से हल्के फील करते हैं. प्रोजेक्शन का मेन मैकेनिज्म क्या होता है यूज्ड बाय द वर्ल्ड टुडे, एंड दैट्स व्हाई ब्लेम गेम इज वेरी 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 पॉपुलर. इसकी वजह से वॉर्स होते हैं, स्ट्राइफ होती है, सिविल डिसऑर्डर्स होते हैं, पीपल की अनबन होती है, लोग बाहर से आते हैं. Hating the enemy is even encouraged in order to becoming a good citizen. We maintain our own self-esteem at the expense of others, and eventually this results in social breakdown. The mechanism of projection underlies all attack, violence, aggression, every form of social destruction. So ये जो हमने करा हुआ ना repression and suppression अपने आप को, इसकी वजह से इतना कुछ लाइफ में आता है that we have no idea. अब फिजिकली आप किसी को थप्पड़ मार रहे हो, थप्पड़ खा रहे हो, या एग्रेशन आ रहा है, गुस्सा आ रहा है, बहुत जोर की बात कर रहे हो, एकदम सैलाब बाहर निकल के आता है बिकॉज ऑफ द वेरी फैक्ट कि हमने अपने आप को सप्रेस किया हुआ, रिप्रेस किया हुआ. इसका नंबर 2 पार्ट है एक्सप्रेशन. With this mechanism, the feeling is vented, verbalized, or stated in body language and acted out in endless group demonstrations. The expression of negative feelings allows just enough of the inner pressure to be let out so that the remainder can be suppressed. This is a very important point to understand. ये बहुत important है, प्लीज समझिएगा आगे क्या बोल रहे हैं. बहुत लोग सोसाइटी में आज हैं, बिलीव करते हैं कि वो अगर उनको कुछ एक्सप्रेस करते हैं तो फ्री हो जाते हैं फीलिंग से, बोल के हल्का फील होता है, राइट? And the facts are to the contrary. लेकिन expressing of a feeling of expression of a feeling पहले tends to propagate the feeling and give it greater energy. आप क्या बोल रहे हो, किसको आप एनर्जी दे रहे हो? अगर कुछ नेगेटिव बात है उसकी अगर मैं बात, फॉर एग्जाम्पल मेरी आज बात हुई है रोहिणी जी से, किसी चीज से अनबन हुई है और उस बात को मैं बोलना चाह रही हूँ अनीता को, मैं उसको बढ़ावा दे रही हूँ, राय का पहाड़ बना रही हूँ, ये एक्सप्रेशन रॉन्ग कर रही हूँ क्योंकि मैं उसको एनर्जी दे रही हूँ. दूसरी बात, the expression of the feeling merely allows the remainder to be suppressed out of awareness. मैंने ब्लेम कर दिया रोहिणी जी के बारे में, जो बोला 1% टोन में बोला अनीता को, अनीता ने मेरा नजरिया सुना, लेकिन मेरे अंदर जो गिल्ट है,
जो मैंने अभी कॉन्शियसली अपने आप को एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया, वो तो मेरे अंदर मुझे दबा के बैठा ही है। ताली 2 हाथ से बजती, एक से नहीं बजती। अगर मुझसे गलती हुई है तभी जाके उनसे गलती हुई है। इट कांट भी उन्होंने गलती कर दी। तो हम ऐसे एक्सप्रेस करते हैं, आधा अधूरा एक्सप्रेशन, एक तरफ की कहानी बता देते हैं। The balance between suppression and expression varies in each individual depending on early training, current cultural norms, and more, and the media. Expressing oneself is now in vogue as a result of misunderstanding of the work of Sigmund Freud and psychoanalysis. Freud pointed out that suppression was a case of neurosis if expression was mistakenly thought to be the cure. The misinterpretation became a license for self-indulgence at the cost of others. What Freud actually said in classical psychoanalysis was the repressed impulse of feeling was to be neutralized, sublimated, socialized, and channeled into constructive drives of love, work, and creativity. कई लोग बोलते हैं कि बोल के हल्का हो जाता है, हमने सुना है, राइट? लेकिन ऐसा काम करो जिससे आपको अच्छा लगे। आप नेगेटिविटी एक्सपैंड करने की जगह पॉजिटिव चीजें करना शुरू कर दो, क्रिएटिव चीजें करना शुरू कर दो। मे बी पोम्स लिख लो, मे बी पेंटिंग्स बना लो। अगर आपके अंदर नेगेटिविटी है उसको बाहर निकालो, क्रिएटिविटी के थ्रू, कुछ काम करने के थ्रू, कुछ काम एक्ट ऑफ लव के थ्रू चैनल करो उसको। ये नहीं कि निकाल के किसके सामने बोल दिया और खत्म कर दिया, ऐसे नहीं होता। Now, if we dump our negative feelings on others, they experience it as an attack and then in turn are forced to suppress, express, repress, or escape their feelings. Therefore, the expression of negativity results in the deterioration and destruction of relationships. अब मैंने क्या किया, रोहिणी जी ने मुझे बात बोली, हमारी बात हुई, बट मैंने बात वहां खत्म नहीं करी, मुद्दा वहां क्लियर नहीं किया। मैंने अनीता को भी उसमें इंक्लूड कर लिया, एक और कार्मिक अकाउंट शुरू कर दिया। अब इससे क्या हो रहा है, अगली मेरे साथ चिढ़ जाएंगी, रिलेशनशिप खराब हो जाएगा, बिकॉज वो बोलेंगे तुमने उसको क्यों बोला, जो प्रॉब्लम थी मुझसे बोलती ना। बस हो गया कहानी शुरू, हो गया उसको बढ़ाना, उसको बढ़ावा और दे दिया। अब और सोने पे सुहागा, worse than worst. A far better alternative is to take responsibility for your own feelings and neutralize them. Then only positive feelings remain to be expressed. इसका क्या मतलब हुआ, अगर मुझे प्रॉब्लम हुई है उनके साथ, सो मुझे अपना ओनरशिप लेना पड़ेगा। मुझे प्रॉब्लम क्यों हुई है, ऐसा क्या था जो मुझे समझ में नहीं आया, मैंने ये रॉन्ग किया, मैंने किया तो उसने किया। जब मैं अपने आप को समझूंगी कि अरे ठीक है गलती मुझसे हो गई, इट्स फाइन, दैट इज द मेन पॉइंट। और उसके बाद सिर्फ पॉजिटिविटी आएगी, बिकॉज आपके अंदर कंपैशन आ जाएगा। थर्ड हमारा है एस्केप, इसके बारे में हम कल बात करेंगे, बिकॉज इससे क्या होता है, अभी आपको 2 पॉइंट समझने हैं। अपने आप को एनालाइज करना है कि कहाँ आपने सप्रेस किया है अपने आप को, कहाँ रिप्रेस किया है, या कहाँ आपने एक्सप्रेस कर दिया दूसरों के सामने और ब्लेम गेम कर दिया। अब कैसे उससे डर के हम भाग जाते हैं, एस्केप कर जाते हैं, और कैसे फीलिंग एंड स्ट्रेस में फर्क पड़ता है, दिस विल बी टुमारोज चैप्टर। इज दैट ओके विद एवरीवन? कैन वी डू दैट टुमारो? बिकॉज़ आई डोंट वांट टू रश दिस बुक। दिस बुक इज अबाउट अंडरस्टैंडिंग। और मैं आपको बता दूं, जो सवाल भी पर्सनल मैसेज पे भी आए हैं, it's very important for everyone to understand कि we are all feeling beings. हम सब के अंदर ये होगा ही, अनबन हस्बैंड वाइफ में भी हो जाती है, बच्चों में भी हो जाती है, इट्स नॉर्मल। लेकिन इसको नॉर्मल, ये अभी स्टैंडर्ड नॉर्मल सोसाइटी ने बनाया है, बट एक्चुअल नॉर्मल क्या है? एक्चुअल नॉर्मल है टू अंडरस्टैंड कि पावर मेरे अंदर है, हाउ शुड आई रिएक्ट टू रिस्पॉन्ड, एंड दैट्स व्हेन वी लेट गो. And that's when we move further in our life. So very, very important to understand that. Now, today's chapter in Rod Judkins' Power of Creative Thinking, the Art of Creative Thinking is very, very nice. अब क्या इसका मतलब है, get into credit का अब समझते हैं. There was an extraordinary outburst of creativity in Florence during the early 1400s. Great artists sprang up like flowers. Donatello, Ghiberti, Masaccio created a huge number of art history's great masterpieces. Was it caused by a freak mutation in the gene responsible for creativity? No, it was money. Florence was the richest city in Europe due to trading and manufacture. There were certain major bankers, including the Medici, earning fortunes and interest from money lent to foreign countries. The Medici spent astronomical sums of money on the architects and artists who built and decorated Florence. Wealthy patrons commissioned all the great artworks. Artists flocked to Florence like bees to a honeypot. The seeds of the Renaissance were planted and bloomed, creating civilization as we know it. Creativity flourishes where there is money. Money is not the enemy of creative thinkers, but the friend, not a problem, but an opportunity. इस लाइन को प्लीज अंडरलाइन कर लें अगर आपके पास बुक है तो. आपकी क्रिएटिविटी फ्लरिश करेगी अगर आप फाइनेंशियली फिट हो, कंफर्टेबल हो, आपको पता है खाना कैसे आ रहा है, छत कैसे आ रही है, गाड़ी घोड़ा कैसे आ रहा है. अगर टाइटनेस होगी, टेंशन होगा, स्ट्रेस होगा, तो क्रिएटिविटी कैसे आएगी. सो जो लोग मनी से दूर भागते हैं या बोलते हैं मनी तो हमारे पास टिकता ही नहीं है, वेलकम टू द वर्ल्ड ऑफ पॉवर्टी. अगर क्रिएटिविटी में बढ़ना है तो मनी को भी अट्रैक्ट करना है, मनी को एक फ्रेंड मानना है, एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मानना है, एंड बोलना है कि बहुत इजीली आ जाता है. अपने एफर्मेशंस में बात करनी है. द क्रिएटिव माइंड नीड्स टू फोकस ऑन क्रिएटिविटी. Financial worries are at best a distraction and at worst a crippling weight. Research shows that the size of Van Gogh's canvases fluctuate in proportion to his finances. Lack of money literally shrank his paintings. Over 5,000 American artists and writers, among them Mark Rothko, Jackson Pollock, and Ben Shahn and Jack Kerouac, benefited from the American government pouring money into the Federal Art Project, a scheme to promote American culture during World War II. Artists, writers, musicians were financed for 2 years, which gave them the time and space to develop, to find their voices. The flowering of young British artists in London in the 1980s was largely due to Charles Saatchi's generous development of his art collection, in turn financed by the boom in advertising revenues. Holland was the richest nation in 17th century Europe and saw the golden age of Dutch paintings, with Frans Hal, Vermeer, Jan Stieck, and Rembrandt. The history of art is inseparable from the history of money. Let's understand that money and art are going hand in hand. Money hai to creativity hai because tab aap relaxed hai. There are those who work to earn money and there are those who work because their work is what they love to do. दो प्रकार के इंसान होते हैं, एक लक्ष्य के पीछे भागते हैं, एक लक्ष्मी के पीछे भागते हैं. किसके साथ काम हो रहा है? One of the functions of the wealthy is to finance creativity. With their wealth, they buy paintings, cars, houses, yachts, theater tickets, music, all produced by creative people. They finance the creative and enable them to continue their work. Artists are usually coy about discussing money because it is uncool. But let's understand, when wealth is a facilitator, it makes things possible. It is fuel for creativity. When I hear the word culture, I bring out my checkbook, joked a character in the Jean-Luc Godard film, Contempt. Worrying about money is wasted time and effort. So हम सबको ये बात समझना चाहिए कि पैसे के लिए अगर हम चिंता करेंगे, वारी करेंगे, तो वो हम चिंता बरकरार रहेगी, इनफैक्ट बढ़ जाएगी. So don't waste your time. ना टाइम वेस्ट करें, ना एफर्ट वेस्ट करें उसके बारे में सोचने का. जो है ऊपर वाले की दया से बहुत आता है, सही टाइम पे सही चीज में आ ही जाता है. ये अगर धारणा बनाएंगे तो ऐसा ही होगा. We are what we think we are. I never met a successful writer, artist, or creative person who wasn't good at managing or had hired someone to manage their finances. Woody Allen कहते हैं, money is better than poverty, if only for financial reasons. So very important for us to understand, thank you Rahul sir for this book, कि money को attract करने से हम अपनी लाइफ में creativity लाते हैं और creativity की वजह से और money आता है. It's like a loop. क्रिएटिव सोचोगे अपने आप पैसा जनरेट होगा, फीलिंग है कि मैं आराम से अट्रैक्ट कर लेता हूँ, सो क्रिएटिव आइडियाज भी आएंगे. क्रिएटिव आइडियाज आएंगे तो आप ग्रो करोगे इन योर एनर्जी ऑल्सो. कभी लाइट हो, कभी बहुत लाइट हो, सो यू नो अपने आप अपॉर्चुनिटीज विल कम अप इन योर लाइफ वंस यू रेडी टू एक्सेप्ट, embrace the fact of this beautiful thought. This is what life is all about. ये हमने कल कर लिया था शायद. Did we do this yesterday? इसके पहले का दिखाना सर एक बार. Okay, नहीं, you're right, 170. Today is again about overweight. Today is about people who are addicted, are usually running for themselves, they use some sort of addiction to fill the inside space. So जो लोग भी addicted हैं, binge watching करते हैं या binge eating करते हैं या कुछ भी ज्यादा करते हैं, वो अपने आप को accept नहीं कर पा रहे हैं और उससे भाग रहे हैं. So who would want to read this heart thought? Please, somebody raise your hand. Whoever wants to read. Thank you, Ruchi. कोई नए लोग नहीं आते ना, आप अक्षय में ही हम लोग ही करते रहते हैं. Great. All right, let's read. Komal, you can read tomorrow. Thank you.
I'm willing to release my fears. If you're overweight, you can have all the willpower and discipline in the world and go on all sorts of diets. You can be really strong, and for months, you may not eat one mouthful of food that you shouldn't eat. Unfortunately, the moment you drop your willpower and discipline, the weight comes back again. It is because you have not dealt with the real issue. You have only worked on the outer effect. The real issue with weight is usually fear, which creates fat for protection. You can fight fat all your life and never get to the real issue. You could probably die believing you were not good enough because you could not lose the weight. However, you need to feel safe, could be fulfilled in a more positive way, then the weight would leave by itself. Say, I am willing to release the need for my weight problem. I am willing to release the fear. I am willing to release the need for this protection. I am safe.
तो जिन लोग को भी वेट की प्रॉब्लम है एंड बाय लॉ सबको ही करना चाहिए, बिकॉज कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा बहुत वेट तो एक्स्ट्रा बॉडी में होता ही है. हमको डर लगता है तो बॉडी में हमको लगता है वी आर अनेबल टू एक्सेप्ट हु वी आर, तो हमारी विल पावर ड्रॉप, डिसिप्लिन हम लाइफ में आते हैं वो भी खत्म हो जाता है, बिकॉज रियल इशू को हम एड्रेस ही नहीं करते. डाइट सक्सेसफुल नहीं होती बिकॉज आप उनको भी डर से करते हो कि ये मैं नहीं करूंगा तो वेट बढ़ जाएगा, इसलिए डाइटिशियंस के पास जाते हो, टेम्पररी वापस वेट आ जाता है. रियल इशू क्या है, रियल मुद्दा क्या है? डर. डर किसका है कि लाइफ में मैं अधूरी हूँ या अधूरा हूँ, ये अच्छा नहीं हो रहा मेरे साथ, और अब मैं ये कर रहा हूँ, अब मैं वो कर रहा हूँ. कुछ भी खा लो वजन नहीं बढ़ेगा अगर आप संतुष्टि से लव खा रहे हो. ये एफर्मेशन प्लीज छाप लो, लिख लो कहीं पर, रोज पढ़ लो, बिकॉज सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है कि क्या मैं तैयार हूँ छोड़ने के लिए इसको. एम आई विलिंग टू रिलीज द नीड फॉर माई वेट प्रॉब्लम? एम आई विलिंग टू रिलीज द फियर? If I am, life can be absolutely amazing. Rahul sir, please make Alona Shah the co-host. She will be recording the meditation because aaj Akshay bhi nahi hai and Shivani bhi, I think she's busy. She's going to be busy this time. She's here, but she'll be busy. Thank you, Alona, for contributing and volunteering to record. I asked and you just said yes. Thank you so much. So if there's something that you want to meditate about, let me know. But I was thinking कि मैं refuse to choose वाला meditation करवा देती हूँ, where we have to look at our fears. Is that okay? Curriculum based meditation कर लें? Okay, all right. So let's close our eyes. Our back straight. Our feet firmly placed on the ground below. A soft smile on our faces. Our hands comfortably placed on our laps. And let's inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Life is beautiful. Life is magical. Let's create this life of wonderment. Let's create this life as one where we are privileged, where we are free of all sorts of fears. Let's understand why are we fearful. Let's understand what is it triggers me, that breaks me or makes me. Let's understand what is it that I'm expecting in life. a reward, award, validation, or what? Let's focus and find ourselves in the present moment. Let's grow in life. Let's see what ticks us. Let's go deeper within us to find out the answers to questions that we may have. What is it that I'm depriving myself of? वो क्या है जिससे मैं अपने आप को deprive कर रहा हूँ? Why is it that I'm depriving myself of this? I really want to do this, but मैं क्यों नहीं कर पा रहा? What's the reason? And मैं जहाँ हूँ, how am I feeling? Is it that feeling of being incomplete? Of not doing what I like? Is it my feeling of being helpless? What kind of feelings am I going through? Feel them. All of us carry with us so many accumulated negative feelings, attitudes, beliefs. And all of us think that someone will come and help us. Something will come and relieve us of our pressure. We are waiting for that someone, not knowing that someone is within us. Let's take a closer look in our life. Maybe now we can think of something which you're struggling with, anything one that you're struggling with. Think of it. What are the feelings associated with it? कभी हमने अपनी फीलिंग्स से रूबरू हुए हैं, एक्सेप्ट किया है, या उनसे डर के भागते हैं, उनको दबा देते हैं? Are we too overwhelmed? क्या हमें डर लगता है कि हम इसको फेस नहीं कर पाएंगे, हैंडल नहीं कर पाएंगे? इतने टाइम से स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं, फिर भी खत्म नहीं हो रहा, सोल्यूशन नहीं मिल रहा, क्यों? क्या हमने उसको इतनी नेगेटिव एनर्जी दी है कि वो बढ़ के आज इतना बढ़ गया है कि खत्म होने का नाम ही नहीं ले रहा? Can we center, balance, align ourselves and tell us that this too shall pass? Just let go. पकड़ थोड़ी ढीली तो करे. जो इच्छा है खत्म करने की इसको, what if we accept it? अगर हम accept कर लें उसको as it is कि चलो ये है, okay, जो होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है. What if we accept secretly, we start looking for acceptance? आज सोल्यूशन की जगह हम acceptance कर लें कि चलो जो है देखा जाएगा. Let's flow like water. हम उस प्रॉब्लम को प्रॉब्लम नहीं समझ के एक लेसन समझें कि कुछ सिखाने आया है मुझे. ये मेरा एनिमी नहीं है, ये मेरा फ्रेंड है, कुछ सिखाने आया है मुझे. और मैं इस प्रॉब्लम का ब्लेम देना लोगों को बंद करूं. इसकी वजह से हुआ, इस सिचुएशन में हुआ, समाज ने ये बोला, लोगों ने ये बोला. मैं ब्लेम गेम बंद करूं. भगवान ने इंसाफ नहीं दिया, बहुत जल्दी बहुत कुछ कर दिया. मेरे तारे बुलंद नहीं हैं, मेरे प्रारब्ध हैं. We stopped talking in the negative blame game language. Let's learn to get away from that beautiful world of blame game. Beautiful because even in there you're finding some beauty. मजा आ रहा है तभी तो कर रहे हो. अगर वो अगली वर्ड लगेगा तो आप करना बंद कर दोगे. क्या हम ऐसा खाना खाते हैं जो सड़ा हुआ होता है? तो हम ऐसी बातें क्यों कर रहे हैं जो अंदर से डर्ट से भरा हुआ है, which is absolutely rotten, सड़ा हुआ है? Can we equate, because this is the mental food we're giving to ourselves. Our thoughts are nourishing us or breaking us. So if it is so stale, why am I holding on? इतनी पुरानी प्रॉब्लम, कब से स्ट्रगल कर रहा हूं, अब तो प्रॉब्लम भी सड़ गई है, मैं फिर भी उसको बढ़ाए जा रहा हूं. Why? Why? Let go. It doesn't matter what people say. What matters is how I feel. Now imagine this huge problem. जो स्ट्रगल जिसको आप कर रहे हैं, imagine this huge problem. ये बहुत dense black energy है. And now what we have to do is attract a blanket, a protection shield of golden color from the universe. Imagine करें कि आपके हाथ खुले हैं और ऊपर से आसमान से आपके पास एक गोल्डन प्रोटेक्शन शीट ब्लैंकेट कंबल आ रही है. एंड ये पूरी प्रॉब्लम का गोथा जो आपने ह्यूज सा बनाया हुआ है, डार्क एनर्जी बनाई हुई है, इसको आप उस शीट में प्रोटेक्ट, उसमें रैप अप कर रहे हैं. Imagine yourself wrapping your problems in your sheet. And this is a magical sheet. ब्लैक एनर्जी इतनी सारी है और शीट थोड़ी छोटी है, लेकिन जितनी वो एनर्जी जाती है इसके अंदर खत्म का कुछ फिनिश्ड. अंदर घुसे जा रही है प्रॉब्लम, घुसे जा रही है, घुसे जा रही है. अल्टीमेटली आपके हाथ में वो ब्लैक एनर्जी बचती ही नहीं है. And all you have is a closed, wrapped up sheet, the golden sheet. Now, imagine there's this golden sheet is being called upon, is being taken away by guardians, by angels. They've come and they're saying, you don't need this energy. And वो आपके हाथ से शीट लेकर जा रहे हैं. You are letting go. आप बोल रहे प्लीज ले जाओ, मुझे नहीं चाहिए, बहुत हो गया. I've really held on to it. I just let go. And you send the sheet away. How are you feeling? Go back and think. अब struggle बचा है क्या? जब वो प्रॉब्लम ही जड़ से आपने निकाल दी, दे दी किसी को, लेट गो कर दिया, क्या अभी भी वो प्रॉब्लम बची है क्या? अगर बची है तो अभी भी मदर अर्थ में गड्ढा करके उसमें प्रॉब्लम को गाड़ दीजिए और कवर कर दीजिए. फिर सवाल करिए अपने आप से, जिस चीज से मैंने इतने सालों से स्ट्रगल करा, मुझे डर था और वो बढ़ती चली जा रही थी, सोल्यूशन ही नहीं आ रहा था, आज वो फाइनली चली गई है. How am I feeling? How am I feeling? Lighter, brighter, better. How am I feeling? Now you fold your hands, bow your head. Dear universe, I was struggling from this problem for so many years. And now you have taken my problem and finished it away forever and ever and ever. I will never have to struggle. I will never have to be scared because I know you're here. Thank you for taking away all my problems. Thank you for making me whole and complete once again. Every time I have a problem, I know I can come to you and meditate and be free. Thank you, universe, for having my back. Thank you for always granting me with love, light, and blessings. Thank you for making me live an abundant life. Thank you for fulfilling me and all my desires. Thank you for making me a channel of love. Thank you for making me a channel of light. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for including me in your blessings. जब भी मुझे प्रॉब्लम आती है, जब मैं एक्सपैंड नहीं करता, तो प्रॉब्लम्स खत्म हो जाती हैं. आज मेरे को समझ में आया कि प्रॉब्लम को छोड़ना कितना आसान है. परमात्मा, यूनिवर्स, सुप्रीम पावर, गॉड, जिसको भी मैं बिलीव करता हूँ, आई नो आप मेरे साथ हैं, थे और रहेंगे. लेकिन आज मैं बहुत हल्का हूँ because I have let go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can rub your hands. Bless your face. आज से एक नई लाइफ शुरू होती है. आज से मैं अच्छा देखूं, अच्छा बोलूं, अच्छा सुनूं, अच्छा फील करूं. I bless my neck, my shoulders, my arms, my back, upper back, middle back, lower back, my hips, my thighs, back of my knees, calves, soles of my feet, front of my legs, knees included, thighs, sexual organs, entire gut area with the intestines, gallbladder, uterus, stomach, kidneys. Now I bless my chest. May I always breathe beautifully, freshly, energetically. Bless my heart for releasing all the tension, all the struggle, all the dark energy. May you grow brighter, better, and beautiful. And now I bless all my Sangha Mitras, all sentient beings on Mother Earth. May all beings be blessed. Love, light, and blessings. Komal, Rohini ji, Ruchi, Alona, Dr. Kamakshi, Manish, Jitendra ji, Pratima ji, Nikita, Vijay ji, Yan ji, Usha ji, Anita, Veena ji, Radhika, Surendra ji, Richa, Amit, Shami, Ankur, Prachi, Ritu, Rima, Anika, Shivani, Rahul sir, Vipul, Amrita ma'am, and to everyone who's seeing us virtually and otherwise. Lots of love, lots of light, lots of abundance. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can anyone share how they felt? I'm not sure आपका struggle क्या था. I'm not sure how heavy your energy was, but I'd like to know, if possible, how you felt about it. And Aluna, thank you for recording. If it went through, if it didn't, it's absolutely all right. Richa says you're feeling wonderful. Komal says you're feeling really light. Relaxed, says Shivani. Very light, says Dr. Kamakshi. Anika says light. So did you see how easy it is to relieve the heavy dark energy? हम सबको एक conditional behavior हो गया है to think too much, procrastinate too much, राई का पहाड़ बनाना, प्रॉब्लम को एक्सपैंड करना, बात करना, उसको बहुत बड़ा कर देना. हम ही बनाते हैं, हम ही सोचते हैं और हम ही लेट को कर सकते हैं एक झटके में. It takes at 1 minute for us to drop it. So you have let one situation go so easily. That's very beautiful. I'm so glad for you, Richa. I'm so glad for you, Lona. You're feeling light. All my problems are gone from my life. How wonderful, Anita. इसके बाद भी problems आएंगी. Good news is कि problems आती हैं, लेकिन आपके पास solution है. Solution है, stop being so attached. Stop thinking so much. Just let go. So That's how simple life is. And this book, Letting Go, is so beautiful. अगर हमने इस बुक को चैंपियन कर लिया, एस कर लिया in the next coming month, then we will never have to turn back. Because हर सिचुएशन पे हम लेट गो कर पाएंगे, इतना इजीली हम लेट गो कर पाएंगे. हमारी सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में प्रोग्रामिंग हो जाएगी इस बुक के एंड में कैसे लेट गो करना है. डे बाय डे हमें कुछ ना कुछ प्रैक्टिसेस मिलेंगी. ऑल आई रिक्वेस्ट इज डू योर असाइनमेंट डिलीजेंटली. मैंने एक असाइनमेंट्स देखा, आप लोग का ट्रैकर थोड़ा सा ढीला है. So please just let go and do your assignments very well. Ritu, we will talk about this on a personal level. लेकिन आपको मैं सिर्फ इतना बोलना चाहती हूँ, जो चले जाते हैं लोग, आपकी मम्मा चले गए और आप उसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर पा रहे, आपको बहुत मैं ये नहीं बोलती बहुत इजी है छोड़ना, बिल्कुल भी इजी नहीं है ऋतु. Mother is mother and you can't let go of your mother and the love for her and you're not able to sleep, I understand, but you have to let go. आपकी मदर की सोल शायद किसी और गर्भ में आ चुकी है, राइट? अब आपके जो अटैचमेंट है आपकी मदर को वो वापस पुल कर रही है, वो डिफिकल्ट हो रहा है. आप क्या चाहते हो कि मामा ने ये लाइफ छोड़ी, एक नई लाइफ की तरफ वो जा रहे हैं. इट्स व्हाई शी वांट्स टू मूव ऑन. शी हैज डिसाइडेड एट अ सोल लेवल कि मुझे अपनी स्पिरिचुअल जर्नी में आगे बढ़ना है. मैं जो बॉडी में थी उमा गुप्ता की थी, अब मैं नहीं हूं. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. हम सब एक रीजन से आते हैं. कार्मिक बंधन अपना और मत बांधो. इजी है मेरे लिए बोलना, लेकिन मैंने इससे गुजरी भी हूँ. आपकी मॉम गए, मेरे भाई गए थे, इजी नहीं था बिल्कुल भी, बट करना पड़ता है. दिस इज आवर जर्नी, वी हैव टू लेट गो. जो गया उसको सदगति बोलो कि आपकी गति अच्छी हो, आगे आप और बढ़ो. जिस लाइफ में आप जा रहे हो वहां आपको बहुत प्रेम मिले, एक कंप्लीटनेस फील हो. लेट गो. बच्चों को भी तो भेजते हैं ना आगे पढ़ने के लिए, या ससुराल या शादियां कराते हैं. वी लेट गो, राइट? हम इंटरफेयर तो रोज नहीं करते, पेरेंट्स नहीं बनते ना, एक पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट तक बनते हैं, उसके बाद वी लेट देम टेक डिसीजंस. सो आप अपनी मदर की सोल को परमिशन दो टू मूव ऑन. And if you are finding it very, very tough, please connect with me and I can make you meet a counselor. She'll make you meet your mother's soul. मेरे साथ भी हुआ था, मैं ये नहीं बोल रही नहीं हुआ था. हमको 18वें दिन हमने ऋषि को छोड़ा था. My father, my mother, me really वो ट्रैप था यहाँ पर. So it's okay. लेकिन अपने बंधन से हमें ही मुक्त होना है. And meditate करके, मुझे पता है it's not easy. I know I've gone through it. बोलना आसान है, करना नहीं है, but उतना मुश्किल भी नहीं है. दिमाग को बनाने वाली बात. भाई वापस तो नहीं आ सकती ना, वो दोबारा तो नहीं आ सकती, तो फिर एंड सोल तो इटर्नल है, वो तो आगे जाएगी ही जाएगी. इनफैक्ट कई शायद गर्भ धारण कर भी लिया हो शायद. सो विश हर वेल. अभी जो हमारा मोह है ना, वो सोल बहुत सफर करती है. आपको विश्वास भी नहीं होगा कितना सफर करती है. इमेजिन करो आपकी बॉडी में बहुत बड़ा कट है और उस कट को आप हील ही नहीं कर पा रहे हो, कोई बैंडेड नहीं, वो ब्लीड करे जा रहा है, करे जा रहे, करे जा रहा है, एनर्जी नहीं है. हाउ डू यू फील? उससे 1000 गुना ज्यादा सफर कर रही है वो सोल. दैट्स द सफरिंग. प्लीज विश द सोल वेल. दैट्स ऑल आई कैन फील. एंड प्लस लेट्स टॉक टुडे. And I really want to wish you a very happy anniversary. कल आपकी अनुराग की anniversary थी, congratulations. And ज्ञान जी, उषा जी, कल आप लोग की भी anniversary थी, congratulations. I wish you both a fabulous life. Be as inspirational as you are. And let's always hope that the togetherness is always barqarar. Ritu, you're very lucky to be having a husband like Anurag who is with you 24/7 in your endeavor to learn and to grow and to be there. So count your blessings. And about your mom, let's talk about that soon. So what did you say, Komal? आप बोल रहे हैं कि toughest part for me to let go, and I'm glad I'm doing it. Very good, Komal, because we all have to let go. आप ही नहीं, हम सब जो इस journey में हैं, we all have to let go. So very, very important. Rohini ji, thank you so much. आपको अच्छा लगा, दिशा दिखी, and you're enjoying your journey. I'm so glad. And Kamakshi आप बोल रहे हैं, if you've done the expression of negative feelings for some, how to overcome that harm? What expression should be said? So you have to ask for forgiveness. कि जाने अनजाने में मुझसे कुछ हो गया which I did not intend to do, लेकिन हो गया. So I want forgiveness. आपको जरूरत नहीं है उस इंसान से पर्सनली 1-to-1 बात करने की. इमेजिन करें अपने मेडिटेशन में कि वो सामने हैं आपके और आप उनसे forgiveness मांग रहे हैं. You will feel very, 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 very light. एंड अपने आप को फॉरगिव करना भी है, मांगनी भी है, और फॉरगिव अपने आप को भी करना है कि मुझे फीलिंग्स आई कि मैं अपने आप को हैवी फील कर रही हूँ उस एनर्जी से, कि मुझसे, देखिए अनजाने में होता है, कोई पर्पसली तो किसी को हार्म करता नहीं, मतलब हो गया तो हो गया, ह्यूमन बीइंग्स है, हो ही जाता है, इट्स ओके, बट फॉरगिव एंड फॉरगिव योरसेल्फ, फॉरगिव द अदर पर्सन एंड टेक फॉरगिवनेस. मैं नहीं बोलती सेल्फ एस्टीम आपकी ज्यादा है, आप नहीं बोल पाएंगी, वो इंसान समझ पाएगा कि नहीं समझ पाएगा, हमें नहीं पता ना वो अभी स्पिरिचुअल जर्नी में कितना एडवांस्ड है. हमने फॉरगिवनेस मांगी और उसने और ऐसी बातें बोल दी जो हमें और अपसेट कर गया. तो अपने इमेजिनरी आंतरिक वर्ल्ड में बात कर लीजिए, ये वाइब्रेशंस है जो उनको पहुंच जाएंगी. आप लोगों में से सब लोगों ने सुना होगा, समझा होगा, कई बार हम किसी को याद करते हैं, वो चाहे किसी भी कंट्री में हो और उनका फोन आ जाता है हमारे पास, एंड फिर हम बोलते हैं ओ माय गॉड क्या लंबी लाइफ है आपकी, अभी सोचा था. इमेजिन करो ट्रांस अटलांटिक वाइब्रेशन पहुंच जाती है, वाइब्रेशन ही तो है. सो अगर आपकी फ्रीक्वेंसी, आपकी एनर्जी, आपकी वाइब्रेशन में बोल रहा है आई एम सॉरी जो मैंने किया, मुझे माफ कर दो, आपको माफी मिल जाएगी, बिकॉज आत्मा का आत्मा से कनेक्शन है, एंड आत्मिक लेवल पे आपको माफी मिलेगी. कामाक्षी की बॉडी और उस इंसान की बॉडी के बीच में नहीं वो एक्सचेंज होगा, वो सोल लेवल पे होगा. एंड तब आप ये भी बोलना कि आज तक जो मेरा कार्मिक अकाउंट था, आई होप दैट्स क्लियर्ड, आज से नया शुरू करते हैं. क्योंकि अगर हम वो बंधन खत्म नहीं करते इस लाइफ में, हम वापस उस नई लाइफ में आएंगे विद द सेम कार्मिक बैगेज. कितने लोग होते हैं अपने पेरेंट्स को या अपने बच्चों को मार देते हैं, सोच भी नहीं सकते हम शायद नॉर्मल लेवल पे, बट क्यों होता है? क्योंकि कार्मिक बैगेज होता है जो हमारे समझ में नहीं आता. सो वी मस्ट क्लियर ऑफ कर्मा with everyone as much as possible. And all I say is letting go is important. जब हम let go करते हैं ना, financially भी हम abundant हो जाते हैं, because हमारी energy positive हो जाती है, तो हम attract सही करना शुरू कर देते हैं. Letting go से holistic growth होती है, financially growth होती है, emotional growth होती है, spiritual growth होती है. जब आप light feel करोगे, आप पढ़ाई भी ज्यादा कर पाओगे, आप spiritual journey में भी जा पाओगे, meditate भी कर पाओगे. एंड लेटिंग गो से, और आज ओवरवेट का जो चैप्टर था, खाना भी अगर हम सात्विक खाना खाना शुरू कर दें, अगर हम शुरू कर दें, तो हमारी बिंज ईटिंग की हैबिट भी खत्म हो जाएगी, राइट? सो लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स आर गोइंग टू कम इन आवर लाइफ, बट आई एम थैंकफुल टू यू फॉर आस्किंग दिस क्वेश्चन. द एफर्मेशन इज सिंपल: मे आई बी फॉरगिवन एंड मे आई फॉरगिव माई सेल्फ फ्रॉम ऑल दैट आई हैव डन कॉन्शियसली और अनकॉन्शियसली, एंड सो बी इट, सो इट इज. लेकिन एक कॉन्वर्सेशन जरूर करिएगा उस इंसान के साथ अपने माइंड में क्षमा याचना की, राइट? थैंक यू सो मच. यस मनीष, प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ. जी बोले.
Just wanted to give a message to my co-seeker who has lost her mother. एक अपना दुख कम करने का एक नियम है कि ऐसे लोगों को देखिए जिनको आपसे ज्यादा दुख है, तो आपको अपना दुख कम लगेगा. I am her co-seeker. We had a family of 6 members, my parents, 2 brothers and 2 sisters. I lost my father in 2001. I lost my elder sister in 2014 when my mother was alive. I lost my mother in 2018. I lost my elder brother in 2020. At such young age, the universe wants me to experience this of going 4 members of my family in such a small span of time. So if we look around and see people who are suffering more than us, then we could feel it that our suffering is very low. It is very difficult to let go when your immediate family members go, but we have to carry on in life. This is what the God or universe wants to experience, give it this experience to us. Behind this, there is something to be learned, or we have to evolve with this experience.
So thank you for sharing your light, Manish. So just see, Manish has lost both his parents and both his siblings, Ritu. So what you can count your blessings is that your parents are in a good space. I know 2020, May 21, May both of them went, but you have Ruchi and you have Varun with you. So yeah, be grateful. Count your blessings that at least 3 jane aap log hain, and you have good counterparts. We have to evolve, and we will evolve. And if you're having challenges, as I said, we will connect. So thank you, everyone. God bless us all. Let's have a beautiful morning tomorrow morning at 5. Until then, keep doing your assignments, keep being grateful, and keep letting go. Lots of love, lots of light. Thank you, thank you, thank you.